So I've observed through my own clinical practice how there has been this rise in children suffering with mental health problems, and it's taken a different shape over the last 20 years. And I think a lot of the focus typically is on what might be wrong within the individual child. That's just part of the model. It's part of the narrative. It's how most people tend to think about things. Even though a lot of the evidence that's coming out, and there was an amazing study that was a bit of research that was released today in the UK that showed overwhelmingly that there's very little to no evidence to support the idea that depression is to do with a chemical imbalance in the brain. The problem with that narrative is children and the people who care for them, who've grown up with that story, are quite stuck in it. And the problem with the story is it leads to children feeling like there's something wrong with them. Yeah, so if they're experiencing low moods or anxiety or whatever it is, the sort of go-to explanation is there must be something wrong with their brain. Not always, but that's quite a predominant narrative that people hold, I find. And I mean, apart from the fact that there's absolutely no evidence to support that story, it's also a very pathologizing story because it doesn't acknowledge what the impact of the environment, including the family and the childhood experiences, the loss and the trauma, but also it doesn't acknowledge what's going on in the wider world.